Hi Share family, it's Jen the Soap Lady. I thought I'd show you guys how to make my body butter. You're gonna need a few things before you get started. A double boiler, a hand mixer, a large bowl for ice water to cool your mixture down, some shea butter, grapeseed oil, vitamin E oil, and cornstarch. That's pretty much it. A stove might help you a bit. So anyways, let's get started. I'll have the recipe on Facebook if you guys would like it. Take your scale, make sure you do a tare, which is leveling it out, making sure it's zero and not weighing your boiler, just in case anybody doesn't know. We're gonna start with 5 ounces of our shea butter. We're gonna add into that 2.5 ounces of grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil you can get pretty much anywhere. Local grocery stores have it. If you'd like, you can find it in an organic. The shea butter I often find online, pretty much anywhere. It is completely one of the most sustainable things that you can buy for cosmetics. So we're going to then do 5.5 ounces, so a half an ounce of vitamin E oil. That's kind of a preservative. Not that there's many preservatives in this at all, but that acts as a bit of a preservative, and it's also good for your skin. We're also gonna do 1 teaspoon or thereabouts of cornstarch. Now, of course, you can find that organic. I was out, so I just used one that I had laying around. Then you're going to put this into your double boiler, get it on high heat, and you're going to melt everything together. All right, now we just wait. The shea oils, we're going to sit it in an ice water bath to rapidly cool it. Add a little salt to help chill it faster. And then we're going to blend it for forever until it starts to whip. So this is the point that you want to add essential oils or the fragrance of your choice. All right, so once it gets to this mildly stiff consistency, take it out of the ice bath, whip it for another 30 to 60 seconds. And you're done. Whipped body butter. So I hope this is finding everyone healthy and as happy as we can be when we're not all together. But I feel it's coming soon, so just a little more time. And I miss you guys. I hope you are staying your sweet, sparkly selves, and we'll see you soon.
Sharefest people, I miss you so terribly much. From Hocas, Delaware, we're gonna show you some really basic moves to do a simple chair massage on your friends, loved ones, anybody. I mean, circulation is the key to life. So what I like to ask anybody to do before I do anything is definitely take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slow and deep. Very good. All right. So there's like a couple basic techniques that you can do. I'm gonna start with effleurage, which is basically like a smooth rolling over. And basically what you're doing is you're pulling the skin lightly. You're trying to separate the skin from the muscle so that all of the toxins that are in between them can get out. So effleurage is kind of like just a smooth roll over the muscle. Petrissage is the next one that we're going to talk about, and that's like it's like a cross between effleurage and pushing. So you're doing more manipulation. Effleurage is like a real smooth, real easy. When people don't want any pain and they just want a total relaxation, you mostly want to do effleurage. But if you want to like get a little deeper, you're going to do some petrissage, which is basically pushing and kneading combined. Did you hear that squeal? Did you hear that grunt? Things are working out. It's working out. So, and it's good to just have an idea in your head of the muscle skeletal system. Like if you can just imagine their bones and follow the bones, that is very helpful. Okay, so those are great ways to just completely relax your friend or loved one or whoever it is that you're working on. But sometimes they need to wake up, like right after the oolong boys. Like maybe you gotta pack your tent up, right? So then you wanna get into a little bit of the deportment. You know, and that's basically beating them lightly, nicely. You can use karate chops. You can use your fists like this. But what it basically does is it's more like an invigorating kind of like wake you up kind of thing is compared to pass you out, which is the first two techniques. They will knock you out. And this should help you wake up to pack up your tent because you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And don't forget to beat their ass because they probably need it. Don't forget about this, like who rubs the rubber? Everybody's guys think about the rubber, like nobody rubs the rubber. So what I really wanted to say is that you cannot go wrong. Like when you're massaging somebody, circulation is definitely the key to life. Take care of your people, take care of your loved ones, and keep rubbing.
Howdy Share Campers, I'm Molly. I'm an artist, designer, craftsperson, creative human, and I'm gonna do a polymer clay workshop. I love working with polymer clay because it's inexpensive, it's accessible, you don't need a kiln like in traditional clay working because it cures in your oven, and one of my favorite things to make is costume horns. I make unicorn horns and ram horns, so I will show you how I do that. Here are a few examples of pieces that I've made in the past. So first off, let's go over our tools. The first thing you need is a surface to work on. I use this placemat, plastic placemat that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's lasted me quite a long time and it's super cheap and simple. A lot of artists will work on pieces of acrylic or pieces of glass. I like the placemat because it's flexible, and if I need to peel something up, I can bend the placemat away from my clay. Next, I use an acrylic roller. This is made specifically for polymer clay. An alternative, and this is something that I use when I teach my classes because I can't afford to buy a bunch of sets of these tools, so you can use PVC pipe. I just went to Ace Hardware and got a big piece of PVC pipe cut up into, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 inch pieces. a very handy tool is this sort of little needle tool made for clay working. An alternative to that, something you can make yourself, is I took a little T-pin, wrapped some clay around it, baked it in the oven so you can make your own tools. And I have just a bunch of tools that I've bought, again, made specifically for clay. Some of them are soft rubber tips, some of them are metal tipped, variety of sizes. Next important thing is a blade. I've got just a regular X-Acto. I've got one of these interchangeable tips with a blade on it. And another major tool that I use are these skewers and toothpicks. Handy to have, cheap, easy to get a hold of. Something else that I like to use is popsicle sticks, and I will show you how I use them in a little bit. Next, let's go over our clay. The most popular brand is called Sculpey. You can get it at Michael's. And so the clay will dry out, but it takes a while, but you just still want to store it in something airtight. I am going to start with a new pack, and it comes segmented, and I'm going to split it right in half so that I have half for each horn. The next step is to condition the clay. You just want to get it softened up, let it heat up from the warmth of your hands, make it a little bit more malleable. This can take anywhere from a couple of minutes to 10 minutes usually. So essentially, you make a unicorn horn and then turn it into a ram horn. So if you want to make a unicorn horn or a ram horn, it's all sort of part of the same process, just one with a few more steps. Next comes the basic shaping of the horn, and I want to turn this into a cone shape with a flat bottom and a pointed tip. I have a lot of techniques to do this, but it's mostly this slow and steady pinching technique. I do some rolling with a tilted hand, I do some rolling between my hands, and I will tap it on the table to make my base nice and flat. And so now what I'm going to do is try to make this a little bit more square, because that's how we're going to get these ridges. And how I'm going to do that is just by pinching. And then I'm going to pinch. So I've sort of made my base into a little bit more of a square, and then I'll let that guide me. I'm going to pinch upward to make my ridges. And so I'll put it down on one end and press a little, flip it and press a little. And I'm starting to get a little bit more of an angular shape. I'm just pinching the sides of the bottom just to make sure my base is pretty wide, or else you'll have this long horn and it won't have a nice resting spot on your head. So I'm just almost like it's like flared out a little bit to give it that surface area to rest on your head. And so this is a pretty good base. Well, so the next step is we're going to be twisting this. And what's very important to do is to twist it slowly, or else you'll just crack it. I mean, if you just twist it, it begins to crack. So if you're doing a unicorn horn, you essentially just want to twist it, but keeping it straight up and down. With a ram horn, it gets a little trickier because we're going to be twisting it around. So the trick is just to go slowly. So I grab at my base with one hand and toward the middle with another, and I just barely twist away from each other. And then I'll switch sides and twist, and switch and twist. And so now you're getting those nice spiral ridges. And like I said, if you're going for a unicorn horn, just try to keep it straight. If we're going for a ram horn, like I said, it's a little trickier. You just want to slowly bend while you twist. You want to be sure to not have a tight grip on your horn because you'll have a big old dent where you've been holding it. So you want to give it a light touch, and you want to change the position of your hands so that you're not pressing in the same place the whole time you are doing your shaping. Here is the base of my horn, and my next step is decorating. So one of my favorite things to do are these little dots, these little sort of barnacle kind of things. There are some smaller ones and leaves, just sort of organic things and abstract things. I hand painted this one. So I'm going to use some green for my leaves. I want to flatten this out and make a sheet, so I'm going to bring in my roller and my popsicle sticks, and I'll work with my hands at first to flatten it and my roller, and then I bring in the popsicle sticks because they give my roller a platform to rest on so that I can put a lot of pressure on the sheet without mushing it totally flat. It gives it a little ledge for my roller to sit on. Use my blade tool here, and I'm just going to cut out some very basic leaf shapes. It's pretty angular right now, so I'm just going to barely soften those little edges. And to make my little indentations, I'm going to get it kind of stuck to my hand a little bit there, and then I take my needle tool and just very softly, I don't want to use the tip or it'll make a little kind of frayed bits, so I'm taking the side of it and I'm turning my hand, I'm using both hands so that way I'm not working from one angle, I'm kind of going from both sides. And I sort of lighten my pressure, start heavy and light and light. It's giving me these little flares on the end, so I'll go back in and tighten those up. So now I have a couple of little leaves. I'm going to attach them. Something to keep in mind while you're decorating is where your hole is going to go for your string. I use leather because it's nice and sturdy. If you're not into leather, you can use hemp. You just want to make sure it's a pretty sturdy string. So oftentimes, I don't want to make my hole yet because I'll just end up collapsing it while I'm decorating. So I'll just sort of make like impressions where it's probably going to go. About there. I don't want it too close to the bottom or it could just pull through. I'll probably just put it about there. So just something to keep in mind while you're decorating. A lot of times I will just push my hole right through the leaf if I have a leaf there, but I'll usually try to sort of go around it. One thing you can do is use polymer clay glue. I use it sometimes. It's not super necessary, especially with something flat that will have a lot of surface area to grip to. But I am just going to rough up my surface a little bit with the tip of my needle tool because that will give it some little grabby bits to hang on to. I'm going to take my leaf. Sometimes, well, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll do a little bit of scratching on the back of my leaf. So that way it's kind of like a little bit of a Velcro effect. And so I'll lay it down right about there. And I like to wrap it around the ridge. It gives it just like a little bit more dimension. And so I just very lightly press because I don't want to mess up my indentation detail on my leaf. So press in the middle, and then I press around the edges. And so next are my little dot decorations. You're just making little balls. Make them with my fingers. And I like to make a variety of sizes. From here, I'm going to use this tool I like to use a lot. It's a rubber tip. It's pointed at the tip and then rounded. And if you don't have the tools, you can use the back of your skewer. The front will just sort of make a really sharp dimple. This will give you more of that valley when you use the blunt end. I am just going to place a few around there. And where my hole is going to be is sort of right in there. So I'm just kind of strategically just sort of staying in the vicinity but going around it. And then I take this and I just lightly put pressure on it. Sometimes I'll spin it because that will keep it from sticking. If I want to give it a good amount of pressure, if I just press it, the clay will want to come back when I remove my tool. So I just spin and that keeps everything from sticking together. And something else cool that I'll do, I'll take a little bit of a different color. And I might put it inside, a little bit less. Inside one of these. You can kind of go to town with all of your little embellishments there. And oftentimes I'll decorate the inside as well. I'll bring these little barnacles all the way around. So there you have your basic horn. Now I'm going to do my hole. I'm going to use my skewer. And I'm just going to start on this end. And what's really important is to try to keep it on the same plane. You don't want to break your plane and go out the side, because then you won't have the whole width of your horn as your support. And again, I twist it so that it doesn't get too stuck. I'm going to go about halfway. And then I'm going to come in here. Twist as I go. Oh, and I can just feel it coming through. And again, the reason I start from one side and then to the other is you can just barely see how I'm getting these little flared bits there. And if I hadn't started my hole on this side, it would have just pushed all the clay outward from there. So this keeps you from having that, and it gives you a nice clean opening. I just kind of go back and forth. And if I know I'm gonna need a bigger opening for my string, I just very gently wiggle it around in there. Sometimes if I've made my hole too high, I'll put it down and I'll press it. And that will give me a nice little opening. And so then you bake. Clay that you buy should have instructions on it. You bake it at 275 for 30 minutes per 1/4 inch. I find that to be pretty loose. If you're working with white clay, it will discolor it. If you overbake something by a lot, it will discolor it, but it's hard to do that. And so I guess I leave these in usually about a half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes, just to be safe. And you want to bake it on parchment paper. You can use tin foil, but if you use tin foil, it will leave these shiny bits, spots that are shinier than the rest of your clay. So that's why I like to use parchment paper. It doesn't mess with the finish of your clay. And from there, there are all different sorts of lacquers and coating that you can use. You don't need to, but I like to. It gives everything like a nice shine. Like that's what's giving these shine, and just an extra protective layer in case they were to ever get dirty or something. They're a little easier to clean just with a little bit of soap and water. So voila. Thanks for watching. I hope to see everyone in their beautiful new horns at the next Hollow.
Hi everybody, my name is Elise and I'm in beautiful western North Carolina on the Tennessee border. Today I wanted to introduce you to my flock of chickens, but especially my chicken Sleepy. My chicken Sleepy was born about a year ago, and we've raised all of our chickens from day-old chickens. Like many people, at the beginning of the pandemic, we had concerns about food security, and we felt that bringing chickens onto our farm would be another way to secure our food source, because chickens lay eggs every single day. There's one right now. But what we didn't know was that we would have a chicken who was different. Our chicken, her name is Sleepy, and she is both blind and has a condition called vitiligo. And this is Sleepy, y'all. Sleepy is so sweet and kind. And one of the things that makes her so special is that she listens so well. She's able to hear my voice from over 100 yards away, in which she can come running. She's figured out how to navigate vast hills, an uncertain landscape with all kinds of obstacles in the way. And when she walks very slowly, very carefully, and when she reaches an obstacle, she stops. She steps back to where she knows her footing is sure, and then she keeps going until she finds her path. And she comes when I call her, and she listens. She listens to the rooster crow, she listens to the other birds, and she's made it a whole year, just as any other seeing-eyed chicken would see. She's so sweet. So she got her name Sleepy because chickens actually are light sensitive. So when it's dark, they go to sleep. And because she's blind, she doesn't have light receptors the way that the other chickens do. So she often will be walking along and kind of doze off. We're glad we kept her with the rest of the flock instead of separate her, because it's allowed her to grow and adapt. And it's pushed her in ways that she wouldn't have been able to had she been isolated away from the rest of them. She's so sweet, and she comes when you call her, and her name is Sleepy. So I want to encourage all of you, especially if you have friends or other animals in your life that are differently abled, to encourage them to grow and to not separate them or isolate them, but allow them to be with everybody else and hang out with everybody else, because she sure does appreciate the company. She loves being held and talked to and pet gently. She's got a beautiful color. And that's my Sleepy. And I'm glad I got to share her with you guys today. Sleepy. And this is our chicken coop. This is the only other thing I wanted to share with you. We built this last year on an existing stone structure, and this was made with pallets. I'm so glad I got to share this with you guys today, and I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day and a wonderful spring, and I hope to see you all soon.
Hi, Share family. Happy Sharefest 2021, spring 2021. So excited to connect with you here. Sending prayers for healing with this sage, purification, transformation, well-being, connection. Sending you lots of healing and love and gratitude. Wishing we could gather. But as we can't, sharing a little drumming with you here today. I know we have lots of drummers in our community and lots of drums around the circle, which I miss drumming with you around the fire circle. I just thought I would share a little drum technique. I personally love the djembe drum, which is from West Africa and Africa, carved out of one piece of wood. I was blessed to study with Abdul Doumbia from Mali, who's a master drummer, in my 20s, and so I learned the basic hand drum technique from him initially, and then later I studied as well with Ubaka Hill and Tammy Hessen. I drum with the Boombada Women's Drummers sometimes, and I've drummed with a couple other groups over the years. And I personally don't teach the West African rhythms, but I love to teach the technique for drumming and then creative drumming around utilizing those techniques. So I think of it kind of like vocabulary or the alphabet, that once we get the styles of creating different sounds, then we can create any rhythms with those sounds. Of course, there's many types of drums and many styles of drumming and many different techniques. This is just traditional West African hand drum djembe technique. So if you have a drum, grab it. If you don't have a drum, you can use a cardboard box or a kitchen bowl or a kitchen pot. You can also just drum on the table, learn the basic positionings, and then transfer that to a drum when you have access to a drum. So we're going to start with the bass. First of all, the way we hold the drum works best if it's tilted away from your body. Of course, if you're sitting on it on the ground, that works great because the sound can come out the back as long as your skirt isn't covering the back of the drum. You want the air to come out the bottom of the drum. So I lean it against the ground, tilt it away from me, and cross my feet around it to hold it in place. And then it's down around my knees or my waist, and that's a good position. Sometimes people will hold it up here, which can be difficult on your wrists after a while. So starting in the right positioning, we're going to start with the bass, which is in the center of the drum, and we're going to keep our hands strong and our fingers together, kind of like you're clapping, same kind of pressure, and then we bounce it off the drum in the center of the drum. We want to be careful not to mute it, not to keep our hands on, because that mutes the ability for the drum to ring out. And truthfully, this video camera cannot pick up the sound as well as I would like, but hopefully you can hear a bit of a bass. So we're going to want to always alternate our hands, right, left, and we can change it up to create rhythms with that. There's different ways to create the rhythm, so just explore around with that, and doing a drum roll as well in the center of the bass. Excellent. Next we're going to learn the tone, which is the next higher pitch sound. For that we put our fingers along the edge of the drums. It's a good way. We do want our wrists. Sometimes drummers will drum this way a lot, but that can really put a lot of strain on your wrists, so we do want our wrists to be strong. You can kind of see a diamond shape here. That's a really good placement for the hands, and you can also see a triangle in my hands. That's Ubaka Hill style, to get a really good placement on your drum. So for the tone sound, we're going to play this way. Often when people play and try to make higher pitch sounds, they'll come off to the edge like this, which makes a great sound, but eventually can really injure your knuckles if you play all night at a drum circle. That can be super painful. So I'm going to show you how to make a high pitch sound next. So the tone is all of the fingers, none of the palm, and you hit it right above that knuckle. So now we have our bass and our tone. In West African drumming, we also speak the rhythm, so goon, doon, go, do, goon, doon, go, balancing the sides of your body and also balancing the sides of your brain, the hemispheres of your brain. I'm going to change it up and add 4 in there. Excellent. Good job, everyone. Yay! Okay, next we're going to do the higher pitch sound, which is called the slap, which is the sound people get here with the fingers, which can hurt after a very long time, or even right away sometimes. Anyway, the slap is the one where our fingers are apart and loose, flimsy. So let's shake out our arms, encircle the shoulders a little bit, take a deep breath in, exhale, shake out any tension. Excellent. So our hands are going to be flimsy for the slap, and our fingers are apart, and the slap kind of bounces over the edge of the drum. So I'll show you that horizontally here. It looks like this. So the fingers are apart. There's you sort of slap your hands onto it. Again, just the fingers, not the palm of the hand at all for this one. And there's a slight pulling in on the tip. You can try that. That can make it easier to create the sound. You want the main contact to be on the top of these fingers. Sometimes it can take a while to create that higher pitched sound, so be patient with yourself and keep practicing. And you can look up different styles of technique as well. There's different ways that people do create that sound. So now we have the tone and the slap. So now our 3 sounds, we have the bass, tone, and slap, slap. Just see if you can differentiate those sounds. Go a little slower to start. Bass, tone, slap, slap. You could also say go, ga, ga, boom, boom, go, ga, boom, boom, go, go. Go a little faster. And we don't have to hit the drum too hard. We want to be able to make these sounds without hurting our hands. Excellent. And that's a fun exercise. Drum rolls on each of the sounds. So using these components, we can cultivate a rhythm. When we're in the drum circle together, we always want to listen to each other, support each other, and be sensitive to the rhythm that's already happening in the circle and ease our way into that. But we also want to be able to express ourselves and allow the rhythm to evolve and journey into new terrains and new heights. And that through our individual creative expression, we can bring that quality to a circle. So we're going to do just an example of improvisational drumming and creating a rhythm and then exploring around it. So I want to explore feeling the bass rhythm, holding the bass rhythm, and then leaving the bass rhythm and coming back to it for a certain cycle of time. We create a cycle in our rhythms, and so well, we have these 3 sounds: bass, tone, slap, 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 bass, tone. Those 3 sounds, we can cultivate the rhythm, and then we can express ourselves more specifically having the vocabulary of this particular drum. We're going to just start with a basic rhythm and then build upon it to cultivate how you can improvise over rhythms and create more interesting dynamics in your music and your drumming. Let's just try this to start. The bass and the tone. Bass, tone, 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 bass, tone, 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 bass, tone, 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 bass, tone, 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 tone. See if you can alternate the basses. Always alternating hands. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this is our bass rhythm, we can change it by adding a double bass or letting beats fall out, adding extra beats. really expand upon it and change it. And sometimes the most exciting drumming goes off the bass rhythm, creates a whole new sound, and then comes back to it. And that's one of the things I love about drumming. And you might have heard adding the slaps in there. So if we did this with the slaps, we do half tones and slaps. Another fun thing to do is a flam, where your hands hit the drum, one right after the other. Makes a really neat sound. So what you do is you just connect your hands, one hand right after the other. That's on the slap flam. This is the tone or the bass. And you want to practice starting with each hand. So back to our original rhythm. We can play around with whatever we want to do, and I hope you're drumming along. Let's keep this basic rhythm, but play around with it. You can even just let go of the tones altogether. And the double bass is really great, alternating hands. And back to your original rhythm. And you can add whatever you want in there. As an example. We do want to be able to do that and have that freedom to express ourselves creatively. We also want to be sensitive to our community. So if everybody's soloing at once, the rhythm just disappears. And so we need to keep that bass rhythm consistency within the circle and take turns kind of going off and soloing, or having a larger big drum that holds it all together, or sometimes we'll have the clack stick or the cowbell holding down the core rhythm for everyone. But it's always good to hold the rhythm within our own drum as well, and have the freedom to go out and explore away and return. I know when I first started drumming, I was always very cautious to be super quiet and to just stick with the rhythm that was going. And I know it's great to stick with the same rhythm and hold down the bass of the circle. That's crucial. And it's so fun to be able to let your spirit sing and create and be creative and call out through your drumming. So in tribal cultures, the drumming would be to call over the land. So that's where the really letting it fly, letting it soar is a great thing. So we want to be able to do that, but we don't want to overpower the whole circle. So it's a combination of listening, but also letting yourself speak and express. And also when we do that, we take the vibration of the whole circle up. It can activate the energy of the whole circle. So it's like shooting the vibration and the rhythm into the sky, let out our creativity through the drum. Let's do another rhythm, a double bass. A heartbeat rhythm. And we always want to try to relax in our drumming. So if this is our bass rhythm, a double bass and a single or double, you can leave the bass out and you can add basses. way to approach drumming, which I absolutely love, creating rhythms and drumming with people, especially at Sharefest. And I hope to inspire you to explore drumming and to explore your own self-expression creatively with drumming and in many other ways, and to always listen to each other when we're in a circle, support each other, and then explore soloing above, and kind of sometimes we can even carry the rhythm up. I hope you'll explore that and experience that and enjoy that. Wonderful to see you all. I miss seeing you in person, sending you lots of love and big healing gratitude for who you are. This tribe and this community is so important to me, and I feel so blessed to be a part of it, and can't wait to see you all, and I hope you're having a great day. Thank you, TK. Thank you, Cher. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, Share Campers! Astro Giggles here, and I'm going to show you how to make some DIY deodorant. So I've been using this Honeydew, which is a company that I really support, and I started looking at the ingredients one day and I realized that I have all these in my kitchen, and then I have all these empty containers left over, so I was like, why can't I just make my own? So I looked up a bunch of recipes on the DIY, and I searched it all on the web, and I came up with a couple really good recipes, so you kind of have to pick your own. Most of them use coconut oil and baking soda. Some call for arrowroot or cornstarch. I like the arrowroot better, and then I found that they were a little soft, so I added found one with some beeswax and also with some shea butter. So that's the recipe that I'm going to show you here today. Okay, so here are the ingredients. 2 tablespoons of shea butter, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, a little bit of baking soda, tablespoon or so, 1 extra tablespoon of arrowroot. I try to use all organic stuff, and a little bit of beeswax, and this will help in the summer. You can also add some different scents if you'd like, some tea tree oil, a little bit of witch hazel, very small because those don't mix well with the oils, and then your containers. So I like to melt all the wax and the oils in a double boiler. You can also use a pot with a bell jar in it if you'd like. You put the waxy, oily ingredients in the double boiler. You want to make sure that you don't overheat the shea butter and the coconut oil, because you don't want it to get too hot. So here we are, all the oils and the wax, beeswax is all melted. You want to shut off the burner, take it off the heat, and then we're going to add our powdered ingredients and stir in. Okay, so here we are. I have some baking soda, which you mix in. I don't use as much as they call for in any recipe because I have really sensitive skin, so I kind of cut back on the powders, and you just mix it in. Okay, that looks about mixed. Make sure everything's nice and no big lumps of any of the powder. And this is the time if you want to add, I add a little bit of sweet orange and a little bit of sandalwood to mine. I add a drop of witch hazel as an astringent. You can add tea tree oil if you want. Again, I kind of have sensitive skin, so I try to put a little bit in for the astringent part, but I try not to overdo it so that I get a rash. So I just added a little bit of the sandalwood and the orange, and now I'm going to put it into my container. You want to make sure that you've wound that all the way down. And I have my container and my melted, oops. carefully. Very carefully pour it in there. Give it a couple little taps. And very carefully put the lid on. And I usually stick it right in the refrigerator. So that is one deodorant. Pretty easy, very quick to do. You put all the ingredients together, or melt the hot ingredients, and then put them in a cool bowl, add the powder, and then you pour it into an old container that you've washed out and sterilized, or you can buy them fresh, brand new, but I like the fact that I'm reusing these over and over again. And that's it, your own personal deodorant. Yeah, so have fun. I hope you enjoyed my video.
We're gonna learn how to make a disco ball planter.
This ain't no party. This ain't no disco.
This ain't no fooling around. So, you get yourself a junk quality disco ball, and it should have styrofoam instead of plastic, or at least I've only done it with styrofoam instead of plastic. And then you figure out what size pot you want to have. I want to transplant this into something a little bit bigger. And then you hold it against the top to see how much mirror you need to get rid of. So I'm going to use a Sharpie to make sure I mark out. So they're made so that actually there's not row after row. There's like a spiral of mirrors. So you just want to pick where you're starting and where you're stopping. Eric, if you come closer, you'll be able to see. I'm going to take it to the end of that row. But this is the mirror I'll not, or I guess maybe that one's the one I won't cut. I won't pop off. And you don't have to pop off all of the inside ones, you just need to pop off the outside row. So since it's a junk shop quality, you can just pop them off. This is not an activity for people who are sensitive about particular sounds, because it makes a gross styrofoam noise.
Yeah.
The first time I did this, Eric told me we should be doing it inside, and I don't agree.
I'm just conscious about styrofoam.
Yes, and there's the mess versus negligible amount of styrofoam issue. Because when you get to cutting into the styrofoam, it's messy. So now you can see how it's actually a spiral. And that one wants to come too, so fine. And then test again. And yeah, if I hack in there, so I didn't know. I always thought it would be like when you make planets out of styrofoam balls in elementary school or adulthood, and that it would be a solid styrofoam all the way through, but it's not. Again, sound sensitive people should probably not do this.
I would plug my ears right now if I wasn't filming.
But a lot like cutting into a jack-o'-lantern, you probably need some adult supervision if you can ever find an adult. I guess they're adults, but not grown-ups. And then, that's the inside of a mirror ball.
Freaky.
And when I did this one, I realized that I had cut it more like this instead of straight in.
Wait, do that again. I'm sorry, I was zooming in on the mirror ball.
I realized I was cutting more like this and not straight in, so that something that needed to go straight in got stuck. But actually, this time I think I did a pretty good job of right out of the gate making it snug on in. Now I guess one thing you could do would be glue around here and make it look pretty so that you don't have this gap showing in the styrofoam. But it depends on what you're planting and how you're going to mount it, because I don't think it matters in particular to me. So, if it will not roll away while I go get this, it's a
Get in the soil, get in the soil.
This is going to be mucky.
Ooh, that's more water than soil.
Well, it wasn't ever actually soil, it was coconut stuff. Not moss sphagnum, but
Okay.
coconut coir. C-O-I-R. But it'll do to fill the bottom of this pot.
So you don't want something that has open holes at the bottom, right? You want a closed bottom pot?
I'm doing an open bottom pot because I think the styrofoam will hold it
Okay.
instead of letting it weep through, but it'll hold it instead of sort of like how a self-watering pot does, but you wouldn't fill it that much,
Ah, okay.
so that it can drain out the bottom instead of stifling your baby plant. Oh, not enough yet. Sorry, plant. The coconut coir is a thing that comes in bricks, like peat moss sometimes does. And then you put it underwater and it's like those dinosaurs that come in pills. The spongy dinosaurs that you put in water and they turn into...
Oh.
Yeah. It's very exciting. That's better.
Whoa. Technical difficulty.
And I don't really need to water it in because this is all so soggy wet right now. Okay. And then you just slide it in. Ta-da! And whatever sort of hanger you want to do on it, you can do. I've seen a couple options where people that had hard plastic underneath of the mirror drilled holes, but I don't trust that in styrofoam. So I did a macrame plant hanger on that one, which is really easy if you've never done it. I just learned it last week, so I'm not going to do a workshop on how to do something I just learned, but very easy. And then you're done.
Thanks, Gabby. That was awesome. Hope everybody out there got their planner. Everything looking good. I really wish I had something, but I wasn't quite prepared. Oh. So, yeah, I have the plant, but unfortunately I wasn't ready with a ball. Oh. So, ta-da! Check out what's next.
Hi Share family, my name is Bethany. My husband Ed and I have been members of the Share family since spring 2015 Share. We've been to 4 in-person reunions, and we can't wait to see you all back hopefully in the fall this year. So for Quarantstream, we wanted to share one of our favorite camping meals with you. We love to camp, and so today I'm going to show you how to do a chickpea curry in one pot. It's vegetarian, it's super yum. We did a little prep ahead of time, which I'll talk about in a second, but we're excited to share one of our favorite recipes with you. So prior to going camping, I like to do a little prep to save ourselves some time at the campsite. So for this recipe, it's super easy. You're gonna need 1 can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas, a can of coconut milk, and then you'll need some spices. This particular recipe has garam masala, cinnamon, cayenne, and turmeric. So I like to measure everything out ahead of time and just prep it, so all I have to do is dump it in the pot the day of. You're also going to want to, ahead of time, chop 1 onion and just take it with you to your campsite. So that, again, that'll save you when you're camping. You don't have to get your cutting board out or anything. So make sure you prep those ahead of time. I've also pre-made some rice to go into the end of the meal. So cook your rice ahead. I forgot once, it was a disaster. So make sure you cook your rice ahead, bring it with you, along with your onion and your spices, and then you're all set to start cooking. Okay, so now that we're ready to cook, I have my favorite cast iron skillet. These are super great to have in your camping gear. We're gonna get this going, and the full recipe I will make sure that it's available for the entire Share family to take a peek at. So if you'd like a copy of the recipe, just let me know. Oh, it looks like we're lit. So once you have your stove lit, you're gonna just preheat a little bit of oil so you can saute your onion. Okay, now we're ready to go. Our oil is preheated and ready to cook, and so we're gonna take that onion that we pre-chopped ahead of time and just get that going really good in the pan. So you wanna get this nice and sauteed up. It probably will take about maybe 4 to 5 minutes until the onions are a nice consistency. So, you know, with cast iron skillets, you gotta make sure it's not too hot. They can really get scorching here. So get your onion all sauteed up, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Okay, looks like our onion is about ready for the next step. So this is going to be like super quick, and we're going to try to do this in one take. We'll see how we do. So now that your onion is ready to go, you're going to add in the spices that you pre-measured. Your spices are garam masala, cinnamon, ground ginger, turmeric, and cayenne. So you add that into your pot. You just give it a good stir. Make sure it gets all over the onions, absorbs into the oil. So this is a pretty quick step. Oh, it looks pretty good. Oh my God, it smells amazing. Okay, and then from here, you're going to add your coconut milk. Oh, that looks good. So get your coconut milk in there. And then also to give it a little extra flavor, we are going to add some tomato paste. So it's supposed to be 2 tablespoons. I just do like a squirt. That seems like about 2. So get this nice and blend it together. You want to make sure all those flavors start talking to each other. And, oh, that smells so good. So once you get this together, you want to just kind of let it simmer for a minute. And then the last step, until we let it cook for a bit, is to add a can of chickpeas. So add those in, make sure, there we go. And that's it. So this step, once you get to this step in the recipe, you're gonna wanna let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. And while that's going on, you can start prepping some other things. And we have some naan that we're going to toast up to go with our meal. And you also wanna get some limes ready to squirt into the meal right before serving. Okay, so now we have our chickpea curry kind of simmering. Like I said, we're gonna do that for 10-15 minutes, let those flavors talk to each other a little bit. But I also like to take some naan with us when we're camping to go with this meal. And this is a little bit of a tip and a trick, but you can actually toast your naan if you like it toasted right on your Coleman grill. I don't think this is like highly recommended, but it works for us, so we love it. So you're just gonna wanna lay it on top of the flame there, and it will get a little bit toasty. It might take a minute or 2, but you can get it toasted up to go alongside your chickpea curry. So coming up. Okay, you can see everything's starting to come together. The naan is toasting up beautifully and the chickpea curry is coming along great. Oh, look at that toast there. So this is gonna be super delicious with our curry. Okay, we are almost ready to eat, so we have a couple last steps to take care of. If you're cooking this at home, you might just want to have this over a bed of rice. And I still like it with rice, especially when we're camping, but I don't want to deal with heating the rice up at the campsite, so I just dump it right into the pot and it warms up together. So once your curry looks pretty good, you just want to dump some rice in, and that will give it a little more bulk. And then we're close to dinner time. Looks good. Put it all together. And that's it, we're about ready to eat. The last ingredient for our chickpea curry is a little bit of lime juice on top. You can also add cilantro if you'd like. I find it hard to take herbs sometimes camping, so I usually skip the cilantro. So make sure you have a lime. You're gonna wanna make sure you give it a good cut and save this half of the lime for your chickpea curry, and we're gonna use this half of the lime to make us a post-dinner cocktail. All right, we are ready to eat. These are actually the bowls that we bring to share for the kitchen to eat meals there. We can't wait to get back and get some good grub at the share kitchen. We miss it. And the other one. And that's our neighbor's dog. Looking good. Turn this off. All right, we're almost ready. Although I feel like I keep saying we're almost ready, I swear we're gonna eat. So we're gonna cut our naan. Everyone has some good naan. And we're gonna get those in here, these little guys.
And we're going to do a little squirt of lime on each of the dishes. Whoop, there's our other neighbor's dog. And like I said, we're going to use these for a cocktail here after dinner. All right, so here's the key moment. We're finished cooking, and this is Ed, my husband, who's going to taste test for us.
Hi everyone. I get to enjoy an awesome little lunch here. That's delicious.
Okay, so we have that leftover lime from cooking, which I don't like to waste. So we're gonna make some Moscow mules for around the campfire. You can totally make these virgin as well. You don't need to put the booze in. And if I was doing this at home, I would have a jigger and be like super careful in measuring, but we're camping. We're not gonna do any of that. So, but you wanna eyeball. Moscow mule is about 1.5 ounces of vodka. So that looks about right. 1.5 ounces of vodka. That looks about right. And then you're gonna take your lime and squeeze it in. It's probably about 1/2 a lime per cocktail. I did bring an extra lime because I knew I was making Moscow mules. And then you want to take your favorite ginger beer to top it off. And I like the Gosling's ginger beer. It's my favorite. So we're gonna just pour those into our share mugs that are also used at hydration station and also at the coffee cart, so they get a good rinse when we're at the reunion. And that's it, and a couple limes in just for a little extra flavor, and you've got your share Moscow mule. Cheers. Here, one for you, one for Ed. Cheers. Oh, that's so good. So we can't wait to see you again, Share family. Hopefully we'll see you at the fall reunion. Again, I'm Bethany, my husband's Ed. You can usually find us with our rainbow fish flag. So find our campsite and say hello. We can't wait to see you all again at the next reunion. Cheers.
Hi Share family, I love you so much. I just wanted to share another thing with you that I thought a lot of people might really enjoy. Ooh, I got the wrong song. Oh, that's fine, we'll do that. So it's just candle dancing. I thought some people might really love that. First of all, you want to put your hair up so it's out of the way, and you want to practice without candles. You want to practice with a cup or a empty candle holder. Or even, I have a shell that I put my sage in. You can practice with that. So the key is to keep it level. If you tilt it, it'll be problematic. And basically you bring it from the front in and under your arm, keeping the top flat. At this point, you have to straighten your arm, and then you can bring it up and circle back almost over your head, but to the side a little. Creates a figure 8 type movement, and you bring it forward. That's the other piece that really helps. So you bring it under, straighten the arm, and bring it forward, and circle back around the other way. So if you practice
I know you're all missing the drums like I am, but since we can't sit around in the circle like we usually do, we got a little something extra special for you this time. We have a drum workshop coming up from, and how cool is this, Rob from Dark Star Orchestra. So go grab your drums, have a good time. I'll see you around the circle next time.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? My name is Rob Koritz, and I'm the drummer and percussionist in the band Dark Star Orchestra, a band that goes out around, travels around and plays Grateful Dead music. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about drum circles. I'm sure a lot of you have been in parts of drum circles or seen them, of course. I'm going to kind of talk about what makes a good drum circle and what's the best way to approach it. I would say the most important thing is to keep it simple and listen. You know, a lot of times you'll see drum circles and it's just kind of a mosh of a bunch of noise, not really being very musical. And the key to being musical, especially in a drum circle situation where most of the players are going to be amateurs, is just to find something really simple to play. It could be as simple as just playing a beat. The big thing is you don't want to go in there and try and be the lead instrument, play a solo. We're talking about a community project when it's a drum circle. So we want to kind of find a simple groove that works for you. Everybody shouldn't be playing the same thing, but you should be listening and hearing what the people next to you or the people across the circle from you are doing, and maybe doing the same thing as them, or maybe hearing some space in between where you can find something that works for the voice of your instrument. You know, you have a lot of different voices there, depending on the size of the drum and the kind of drum you're using. And there's not so much a specifically defined role for each one in this application of a drum circle. But you kind of want to make sure that you're not overbearing. Another big part of that would be volume then. You know, when I lead drum circles, I say, look at the person across from the circle from you. Can you hear what they're playing? If not, chances are, I like to approach it as, if I can't hear the person across the way, it doesn't mean they're playing too quiet. It means I'm playing too loud. You just want to be, you know, one of many voices coming together in a conversation. So it's really about listening, making sure you're part of that community, and playing something really simple. So I'm going to play a simple groove for y'all. And I don't know how the timing will work on the computers, but if you can try and play along with that groove or find something different to play with that groove that fits with it, that's great as well. I guess real quick, another thing I should mention is, you know, a drum has more than one voice. You know, this drum here is called a djembe. It's a pretty common drum circle drum, and it has a voice that's more of a bass tone. Although this head I just discovered is broken, so it doesn't have as big of a bass tone as it should. And then as you get further out, you get different tones. So you can use those voices within your one instrument too. So I'm going to play something kind of simple. It's kind of based around a song called Not Fade Away, which was a Buddy Holly tune that the Dead play. But the basic groove is that Bo Diddley groove. So kind of So I'm going to kind of vary around that groove, and I'll play for a few minutes, and feel free to play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that I'm not really varying my groove very much. I'm playing the same thing over and over. Keeping your groove real repetitive is a good way to establish a communal groove instead of changing it up. Give something to people to play off of that's going to be consistent. Now I might change up. Another big thing is dynamics, quiet and loud. You get quiet, everybody has to listen a little harder. And sometimes that will make for the best way to get everybody playing it together. And then maybe it comes back. Then we'll get quiet again. We're gonna get loud again, and then I'm gonna give a 4 count. At the end of that 4 count, let's all try and stop together. One, two, three, 4. And when you're in that drum circle where everybody's live together, if everybody stops at the same time and on the same beat, there's kind of a push of air that just kind of comes up and hangs right after that last note. And when that happens with all these drums working together, and then there's just that, it's an unbelievable feeling. I'm kind of getting a little chill talking about it because it's such a cool feeling. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of perspective on how to make a drum circle work in a good way. Not that there's anything wrong with just going out there and playing with no rules, because that's part of it as well. Chaos can be good. But to really get a good grooving musical drum circle, hopefully those are some tips that will help it happen for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much.
Okay, we have some wonderful tweeting birds in the background to help us sing this song. Always good to have a bird chorus.
Sounds of nature.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Child that's grown old, dreams the kitchen. I can hear all the buzzing, and I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening, and have nothing to say? Make me an angel, flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing, Lord, I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go. Believing in this living is such a hard road to hoe. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
All right, nice. Thanks a
Good,
lot.
we love you.
We hope you're having fun. We want to remind you, though, that we are a nonprofit and we do give out money to environmental causes. We have an entire committee called Grants, and their job is to review the applications for these people that we want to give money to and then hand it out. They work very, very hard, and they've put together a slideshow so you can find out who's been getting the money that you festivals have been donating for them. So take a look at what Grants has been doing for the community.
Yeah, snaps, cat, snaps. Snaps. Oh, dig that.
I've got stormy sunshine, rocky peace of mind. At times I saw great heights, striving to find shelter from corruption, a shield from the game. If money makes the man talk, I'd converse another way. Music is our message, our donation to them all. They can take it now or later. Breathe rich or poor, life can be a great time, and other times it's sadder. You always want the one thing that you never really had. Frustration turns you over, you curse that you were born. But then again you wake up, see a brand new morn. Be thankful for the flowers, the birds that sing your name. It's time you rock and ruin. Shine on in the rain. sunshine, rocky peace of mind. At times I saw great heights, striving to find shelter from corruption, a shield from the game. If money makes the men talk, I'd converse another way. Music is our message, our donation to them all. You can take it now or later. Rich or poor. What's up, Sharefest?
Hi, Share Fam!
I'm Emily.
I'm Laura.
And today we are going to show you how to make a camera obscura,
Also known as a pinhole camera.
in your own home.
Using things you probably already have.
Wow!
We really miss being together with everybody.
But this is a quick thing you can do that will help us feel a little more together. And it's a great activity for kids. It's easy to do on the weekend.
Great for quarantine boredom.
And it's also just really cool.
Hopefully we'll see you guys all in the fall, but until then, since we can't do a workshop in real life, here's how you do it.
Please post your pics in the Facebook page if you try this out.
Please.
What it looks like.
Would love
at
to
your
see.
home.
Would love to see, and we'll show you our results as well at the end.
Thanks everyone for watching.
See you soon.
The camera obscura is the origin of the modern cameras of today. Discovered around 391 Common Era, the camera obscura was used for many purposes traditionally, including entertainment, creating realistic portraits, and to trace accurate reproductions of landscape scenes and architecture.
The version we will be making today is a simplified model that allows you to project the scene outside your window into your room of choice. The image projected from outside will be upside down and backwards, meaning you will see the sky on your floor and the ground on the ceiling. Trippy!
First, pick the location for your camera obscura. A north-facing window is best, but any window will work as long as the sun does not directly shine in. We chose a room with a single north-facing window to simplify the process for blacking it out. If you have a scene outside of your home that would make an interesting projected image, choose that one. A bright, clear-skied day is best for optimal image clarity. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we created our camera obscura on an overcast day, but as you can see at the end, our projected image was still visible despite the weather.
In the dark for about 10 minutes with the flap down on our camera obscura and just let our eyes take in the darkness basically, so they'll be incredibly much more sensitive to light when we do lift the flap. So we're just gonna hang out here, like no phones, no light or anything, just chilling for a little while. And then we're gonna lift the flap up and see what we can see.
So after we turned off the lights, we realized we had light coming from under the doorway. So simply just put a blanket underneath. And then Laura's gonna turn the light off.
Thank you for following along with us. First, we wanted to see what our iPhones could pick up in our camera obscura, and we were surprised to see that we were able to capture images with just our phones. We also toyed around with some long exposure images, around 30 seconds. As you can see, there's a ton of fun to be had with this project, both from a scientific standpoint and a silliness one.
Okay, folks, we hope that you enjoyed this workshop. If you do try this out in your own home, we would absolutely love to see your result photos in the Share Facebook group. Please feel free to reach out to either of us if you have questions about this process as well. Thank you so much for following along with us and sharing your time. We can't wait to be reunited soon and dance. Be well, family.
Kids are everywhere.
Kids are everywhere. Kids are everywhere. Kids are everywhere.
Ready, Zoe? Where's the egg?
Here's your egg. You ready?
Take it?
Kids.
Oh. Okay. Look at the screen, Zoe. Kids are everywhere. Kids are everywhere. Woo! Put it down out there.
Kids.
Kids are everywhere. Kids are everywhere. Kids are everywhere. Kids are everywhere. Do you want to take
Three.
Kids are everywhere. Ah, he's recording me again.
Everybody likes bubbles. Right, Lily? Bubbles!
I like to eat them.
So much fun.
And the music.
Break out the drums.
No.
Drum solo, Scarlett.
No.
Ready, go. Break out the ukulele.
Ding 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 ding. I'm gonna eat you.
Please don't. And this is where it all went downhill.
Kids are everywhere! Kids are everywhere! Rock! everywhere.
Kids are awesome!
And more!
Just say it loud.
Kids are everywhere! Ah! Yeah! Yeah! Ah! Okay, it's just making tiny ones. It's making tiny ones. Well, it's harder for you to pop.
But they go everywhere.
I want the ones that are bigger. Yeah? You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Very nice.
Okay, I hit this one twice.
Sounds like you've heard that a few times.
Whoa.
Just gonna keep chopping
Whoa. It's like a bubble volcano.
There.
Ooh.
I don't like that. It's like a volcano.
Look at how many. Wait. Look at how many there are. How many do you think were in that batch? Look at them all.
Smash.
Lily, do you see them all? Look at all those bubbles.
Back. Ready? Where are you putting them?
She's like, I'm just a little too tired for this nonsense.
Guess what? Marshall's better at popping these small ones. Guess what? Marshall's better at popping these small ones than my sword.
Yeah.
Look at all the bubbles you're missing. Bye.
Thank you guys.
See?
Everywhere. Kids are 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 everywhere.
Big woo!
Our Share family. Good job, guys. Bye. Kids are everywhere.
Okay, ready?
Kids are
Kids are
everywhere.
kids
Are
everywhere.
kids are everywhere. Yay! Yay!
Yay!
Well, hello, my loves and all my sparkly people. Happy spring from Delaware. Sitting next to my violets that are from up in the mountains of central Pennsylvania, so I'm bringing some of that love light in, and I thought I would like to share some stories with you about two of my favorite things. My number one favorite thing, water. Water. By Frank Ash. Water. Water is rain. Water is high in the sky. Water is deep in the earth. Water is a tiny brook growing bigger and bigger. Water is a waterfall and mist. Water is a small pond and a large lake. Water is what fish breathe and what flowers drink. Water is a salty tear. Water is a flood. Water is a long, winding river. Flowing to the sea. Stay hydrated. Cheers. One of my favorite things, trees. Thinking of the home tree and all of our favorite trees, from Sandy Hollow to the sycamores. Just think about your trees wherever you may be. A poem by Harry Bean, illustration by James Endicott. Trees. Trees are the kindest thing I know. They do no harm. They simply grow and spread a shade for sleepy cows and gather birds among their boughs and give us fruit and leaves above and woods to make our houses of, and leaves to burn on Halloween, and in the spring, new buds of green. They are the first when day's begun to touch the beams of morning sun. They are the last to hold the light when evening changes into night. And when a moon floats on the sky, they hum a drowsy lullaby of sleepy children. Of long ago. Trees are the kindest thing I know. Sending all kinds of love light, shine your light. Collectively, we are brighter. Trees are the kindest thing I know, so stay kind. Love.
Hi, it's Jolly, Kidville coordinator, and I have some things I wanted to share with you that I've picked up from vendors, people I've come to love. My first share was in 2001 at Four Quarters Farm. This is from that time. I was introduced by Bear, Gary Seitz, and I am forever grateful for the introduction. Something I wanted to show you is that I've saved quite a collection of invites and Share the Times magazines, and years ago I used to do some word puzzles, create them and put them out on tables for people to do. I even have copies of those. I'll show you some of these wonderful things. We have been blessed with the most amazing music at Share. And I am always ever so grateful for everything that Share has brought and taught. The music, of course, is just a piece of this, but it certainly helps to bring us all together. This wonderful thing we call life. Thank you so much for joining me on this little ride. I can't wait to see you again. Hugs!
Life is love with so much to give. We're held back by fear and pride. Travel not, but I'll fight you I always knew that the time would arrive when I'd be watching you go on your way. Nothing is said about things left undone, somehow they just go to breathe. So carry with you a piece of my soul on your journey, my most trusted friends. Keep a part of you next to my heart till the day when I find you again. Life is love, we've so much to give. We're held back by fear and pride. Travel not how far you go, but instead the joy of the ride. 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 Joy of the ride.
Dear Share family, welcome to the bamboo forest here at Dogwood Hollow. And I have a remembrance of Mark Whitmoyer that I'm psyched to read to you. And here we go. So, dear brother Mark, thank you for being a dear brother to me. I'm grateful for our friendship. I am grateful for the appreciation, love, and respect that we're all sending your way today. I got 3 different things I'm looking forward to reading to everyone. The first one is the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission marker from Sandy Hollow. Sandy Hollow Arts and Recreation for the Environment. On this site, in 1990, a ragtag group of misfits first gathered to share good music, fellowship, and intentions. 25 years later, they gathered at this original site to celebrate a quarter century of good music, fellowship, and accomplishments. So interesting about the historical marker is that Mark always wondered who created that historical marker, and I wonder too. So, you know, here's yet another opportunity for the person, whoever it is that created this historical marker, to fess up and let us know who did it, or not, either way. And the second piece here I want to share with you. This is from Share the Times, March '99, and these are my words, sharing with you now. The father of Sandy Hollow. With a deep breath, I reflect. Like a brother, Mark's wisdom has touched my path since we met in the spring of 1990. Living through the many evolutions of our community in the past decade, I look at Mark's contribution of his leadership and vision with a great deal of respect. I remember so many crazy times, even though a few festivals may have begun to run together in my memory, and by now they definitely have run together in my memory. How many times has Mark dealt with the law, the township, the media, and the neighbors on our behalf? Host of festival after festival, year after year, the cold and the wet festivals, as well as the hot and the dry festivals. Each time another festival rolls around, there are new challenges to face, and more often than we realize, it was our brother Mark who did what it takes: the paperwork, logistics, the use of his shop, the tools, his vehicles, not to mention the opening up of his home again and again. We have all helped to create the magic, and it takes all of our talents to make festivals happen. Still, I believe there has been one person who gave us a vision at the onset that has evolved and carried us through the years. Thanks, Mark, for all the love and energy. The sycamores, and yesterday we did this at Sandy Hollow, and I was able to say, these sycamores are rooted in this bog. Not this bog, but the bog at Sandy Hollow. And that bog flows into the bay. So for me, that always symbolized the connection, the Chesapeake Bay watershed, and how everything we do connects and is important to what flows downstream. So, as you know, Mark had a vision for Sandy Hollow, and I wanted to share, this is kind of long, but I think it's good, Mark's words from Share the Times, November 98. Food for thought, the future of Sandy Hollow. And I think this is good too now, because Sandy Hollow, like the future of Share, the future of Sandy Hollow, both the timing right now. Here we go. Written a long time ago by Mark. These are Mark's words, so I'm going to try to be Mark for a little bit. And interesting history if you don't know this too. So enjoy. It's going to take a while, but it's worth it. As most folks in the Share extended family are aware, we have failed last April in our effort to compromise with the Carroll Township supervisors regarding their insistence that our Sandy Hollow activities be in compliance with their campground regulations. Their decision was strongly influenced by a virtual lynch mob who dominated the meeting with a combination of irrational fear and redneck prejudice. That meeting was one of the worst experiences of my life. Personally, I do not want to allow the supervisor's repressive and wrong-headed decision to stand unchallenged. And I don't think I'm alone in that sentiment. There are a number of strategies that we could employ, but before we can decide how to best proceed, we need to reach a consensus about what we, the Share community, want our future in Sandy Hollow to be. Thanks to the fantastic efforts of the committed core of Share volunteers, and with extra special thanks to Jeff Dardozzi, we managed to hold 2 great festivals in '98 in a new location. As long as the new site remains available to us, it seems like a good idea to continue to hold our festivals there. After all, there are no nearby neighbors, and the larger site could accommodate bigger festivals, which could potentially allow us to generate more funds for our environmental efforts. Meanwhile, however, we have invested many resources and a lot of ourselves in Sandy Hollow. The major physical resources we've established in the Hollow include the stage, which is where we were yesterday reading this, the dance floor, the sound booth, the electrical system, as well as the water system, and the thousands of dollars we've invested in our own 6.5 acres of beautiful land. Emotionally, Sandy Hollow is our home, the place that has cradled and nurtured our sense of family and community. Shall we abandon this special place or build on our collective investment by reclaiming the Hollow as our own? Your thoughts and ideas are needed to help guide this decision. As potential starting points for discussion, here are some of my ideas. As things presently stand, there is nothing to prevent us from holding daytime activities in the Hollow. It is only when we provide places for tents or camping vehicles that the township regulations kick in. I've heard that it is likely that 2 longtime sheriff members will be getting married in the Hollow in '99. Well, yeah, Kim and Tony did get married in the Hollow in '99, and as I hope a lot of you can recall, in 2019, October 19th, 2019, Tony and Emily transformed the Hollow into the magic that it was that day when they were married there too. So Mark goes on, he says, day-long benefits, concerts, picnics, or other possible events are also possible without legal entanglements. The Hollow could once again become the base of operations for share member activities. Perhaps we could construct a building as a member center where meetings, potlucks, parties, performances, seminars, workshops, etc. could be held year-round. Such happenings could go all night when we were younger. Anyway, could go all night if we so choose, as long as no camping vehicles or tents are involved. But in addition, if such a building included toilets and showers with approved septic system, office space, and telephone, we would have many of the elements needed to comply with the campground regs. With the addition of some designated campsites, served by simple roads, paving is not required, buffer zones, and a few other items, we could have an approved campground for use as a member's retreat and for other private purposes. Then we would be free to hold our summer volunteer campouts, and similar multi-day events back home in the Hollow once again. And this is the good part, so bear with me, but this is the part that really speaks to who Mark was and his vision. Perhaps through our efforts, the Hollow could evolve into a genuine environmental and artistic retreat and learning center. The idea of holding workshops, like we started at the Fall Festival, could continue year-round in the Hollow. Perhaps our facilities could become available for activities of other environmental or arts groups, inner-city outings, Sierra Club, Arts Council, etc. We could create a demonstration center for green building techniques, conservation and alternative energies, sustainability, organic horticulture, wildlife preservation, folk arts, etc., etc., etc. And if for some unknown and unfortunate occurrence we ever lost the use of the new festival location, we might choose to bring it back home to the Hollow. As I've begun to discuss some of these ideas with others, some have expressed concern that we shouldn't spread ourselves too thin, considering that we are trying to shape the new site into a more suitable festival location. Can we also spare the money and the volunteer effort to put into the Hollow? I believe that if we truly want to, and we take a careful, measured approach over a period of years, we could do a lot. What do you think? Please share your thoughts and ideas on the future of the Hollow with others in the Share family, and please call me with your contributions to the decisions. I'll try to gather and focus input as we strive towards consensus. The board will be meeting in December. Please attend, or at least share your thoughts with board members before then. Ultimately, we'll try to reach consensus. Only after we've decided where we want to go can we determine how to get there. Thanks, Mark Whitmoyer. So, I hope you guys like that, and think about, what we used to do with Share the Times you know, thanks to Sparky, this thing just, you know, it meant a lot. And people would do this thing called What Share Means to Me. And I want people, and you know, all of us, think about it now. You know, what does share mean to me? And if you're up for it, write it down or do something like this, and you know, let us all know what share means to you too. And thanks, love you guys, peace. Dear Share family, welcome to the Bamboo Forest here at Dogwood Hollow. And I have a remembrance of Mark Whitmoyer that I'm psyched to read to you. And here we go. So, dear brother Mark, thank you for being a dear brother to me. I'm grateful for our friendship. I am grateful for the appreciation, love, and respect that we're all sending your way today. I got 3 different things I'm looking forward to reading to everyone. The first one is the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission marker from Sandy Hollow. Sandy Hollow Arts and Recreation for the Environment. On this site, in 1990, a ragtag group of misfits first gathered to share good music, fellowship, and intentions. 25 years later, they gathered at this original site to celebrate a quarter century of good music, fellowship, and accomplishments. So interesting about the historical marker is that Mark always wondered who created that historical marker, and I wonder too. So, you know, here's yet another opportunity for the person, whoever it is that created this historical marker, to fess up and let us know who did it, or not, either way. And the second piece here I want to share with you, this is from Share the Times, March 99, and these are my words, sharing with you now. The father of Sandy Hollow. With a deep breath, I reflect. Like a brother, Mark's wisdom has touched my path since we met in the spring of 1990. Living through the many evolutions of our community in the past decade, I look at Mark's contribution of his leadership and vision with a great deal of respect. I remember so many crazy times, even though a few festivals may have begun to run together in my memory, and by now they definitely have run together in my memory. How many times has Mark dealt with the law, the township, the media, and the neighbors on our behalf? Host of festival after festival, year after year, the cold and the wet festivals, as well as the hot and the dry festivals. Each time another festival rolls around, there are new challenges to face, and more often than we realize, it was our brother Mark who did what it takes. The paperwork, logistics, the use of his shop, the tools, his vehicles, not to mention the opening up of his home again and again. We have all helped to create the magic, and it takes all of our talents to make festivals happen. Still, I believe there has been one person who gave us a vision at the onset that has evolved and carried us through the years. Thanks, Mark, for all the love and energy. The sycamores, and yesterday we did this at Sandy Hollow, and I was able to say, you know, these sycamores are rooted in this bog. Not this bog, but the bog at Sandy Hollow. And that bog flows into the bay. So for me, that always symbolized the connection, the Chesapeake Bay watershed, and how everything we do connects and is important to what flows downstream. So, as you know, Mark had a vision for Sandy Hollow. And I wanted to share, this is kind of long, but I think it's good. Mark's words from Share the Times, November 98. Food for thought, the future of Sandy Hollow. And I think this is good too now, because Sandy Hollow, like the future of Share, the future of Sandy Hollow, both the timing right now. Here we go. Written a long time ago by Mark. These are Mark's words, so I'm going to try to be Mark for a little bit. And interesting history if you don't know this too. So enjoy. It's going to take a while, but it's worth it. As most folks in the Share extended family are aware, we have failed last April in our effort to compromise with the Carroll Township supervisors regarding their insistence that our Sandy Hollow activities be in compliance with their campground regulations.
Hey guys,
their decision
it's
was
PK
strongly
here.
influenced by a virtual lynch mob.
I am going
dominated
to
the
pull
meeting with a
Bruce
combination
down
of
here.
irrational fear
Well, we had a repeat broadcast, and while we love our brother Bruce, we're gonna go ahead and pull him out a little bit. I guess this is sort of serendipitous, in a way to let you guys know what Share means to me. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, but we're just gonna have to deal. Psychedelic. But I don't know if you guys know my story, but I started coming to Share in 1991. I was probably 19 at the time, and my buddy, Fire Marshal Bill, from me and Slavo, invited me because I would go to the Folk Fest with him, and it was awesome. I came and saw this group of people who were just there to help each other and have fun and play music, and it was a amazing time. And after the first one, I was like, "When's the next one?" And they said, "Oh, well, we're going to do it, in the fall." And I was like, I went to the fall, and then from then I was like, "I'll never miss one." And I have not yet. I missed one day of one festival because my father got married, and but I did leave a full-size body double in my place during that. So I just, it really, it's the one place that I've been where I feel like everybody can truly be themselves, and part of that being yourself is helping everyone, and is being true to the group and the family and the earth, and it really is a special place and a special group. And it really doesn't matter where the place is. It's special. This is special. It's not the same, obviously, to not have people all joining together and watching some awesome band or something. But it is truly a special place, and it, it's a family that I wasn't born into, that I feel like I found, and I miss you all terribly. I really do. It's just, this pandemic has been rough on all of us, especially us who go to these festivals, and we hug each other, and we charge our batteries, and we come home and we spread that love amongst the community and to our other friends who may not have been able to come. And it really is a very different, special thing that I'm glad that I found in my life, and that's why we work so hard to try to make this stream be something like what it would be like to be at the festival, with the workshops and with the music and with the funny little Santana jokes and stuff. So I hope you guys are all enjoying it. I'm going to check right now and see where we're at.
Served by Simple Rose.
And Bruce is still talking. So I kind of set this up so that I could sort of let it go and be able to enjoy some time watching it instead of controlling it all. So I put it all in one big thing so I can enjoy watching it with you all instead of being the DJ for every little clip. So but we got lots of great music coming up tonight. What I'm going to do after there's another couple of more sort of memorial stuff that we want to acknowledge our family that's not with us any longer, and that's a really special part of what we try to do in the spring is really keep space in our community for the people who aren't physically there. I think that's an important part of what we do as a family. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll start up the evening stream with the music, and we'll have all the bands and all the fun that's going to happen tonight. And then we got a special treat for late night. Our sort of late night band in the barn is this brand new band that no one's ever heard. World premiere. Now, really, it is. And it's a band called Smoke and Mirrors. And it's awesome stuff. You guys are really going to dig it. So stick around after Crippled But Free and for that awesome music in the barn. And then we got a little visit to Star Camp for you too, because we know how much everybody misses that and loves that. So that's a thing that's also coming up. So I hope that you guys all have a great night, and I know that there's a lot of you out there that are gathering together with a few people safely outside, and I'm happy that that's happening. I'm missing y'all, and I know that it warms my heart to know that you guys are getting together with each other in small groups in order to share the love and the vibe, the family vibe, while you watch the stream and stuff. So very much appreciative of that. Real quick, I'm going to give you a little idea of what's coming up here tonight. So we got a special I'm gonna go and to let Mike take it over. Love you, people. Goodbye.
It's been rattling around in my head and my heart ever since, and I sit down with it every now and again and try to do something with it, and nothing ever seems to do it any justice. But in 2021 here, it has finished, so I'm going to give it a try because this is kind of what it's about. And I mean,
can you turn it up? I don't know if I'm Oh, I turn my speakers off.
Chase our dreams out on the highway.
That's not real. No, it's real. It's just
Take
over.
winding roads back home. Full circle round again, family and friends, we're all we have to call our own. One more time, get everyone together. Glasses raised, songs are sung. One more time, nothing lasts forever. There's still so many things to be done. And when they're telling of the stories, itself becomes the story told. We need each other when we struggle with the end of all those precious days of old. One more time, get everyone together. Glasses raised, songs are sung. One more time, 'cause nothing lasts forever. And it seems we've only just begun. Sunshine yields the stage to twilight. Stars then fade with waking dawn. Full circle round again, our lives outlive us when love we've shared lives on. One more time, get everyone together. Glasses raised, songs are sung. One more time, nothing lasts forever. It seems we've only just begun. Can you try to sing with me, please? One more time, get everyone together. Glasses raised, songs are sung. One more time, 'cause nothing lasts forever. It seems we've only just begun. You've got it, let's do it. One more time, get everyone together. We're all here together. Glasses raised, songs are sung. Hear you singing now. One more time, nothing lasts forever. Maybe some things last forever. It seems we've only just begun. It seems we've only just begun.
roll away. Roll on home. We'll fly away. Cause you are gone. You left last night. You took a flight. So long I will see you on the other side. So long I will see you. Goodbye. We'll fly away. You gypsy soul. We'll fly away. Your time has come. You left last night. You took a flight. So long I'll see you on the other side. So long I'll see you. Goodbye. feather well. Oh, my old friend, will feather well. I'll see you so long, I'll see you on the other side. So long, I'll see you on the other side. So long, I'll see you.
All right. Still red in the face from my technical spoof. But hey, I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to take a little break and come back with the evening stream with all the bands and all the fun stuff that we're going to do. So we'll be back in exactly 12 minutes for 6:30 for the nighttime. Share Saturday night. Here we come. Woohoo! All right.